Hey everybody, it's Retro Gaming Now, and we're back with Uru Complete Chronicles. So we just found this notebook, which we're going to go ahead and read. Analysis. Author Simpson, transcribed from voice recorder. Age Gahreesan. Date 11/12/2001 to 6/4/02. Multiple trips. Okay, thing seems immediately obvious. This place was built for security. No one could write a link anywhere in this place or the next. It was obviously a maintainer facility of some kind, and it doesn't seem that it was for the general guild members. By that I mean it was limited to at least the higher ranking members. As to how they got the first link written here, I don't know. Probably while it was under construction. It does seem pretty obvious that it's not going to happen again unless something major happens to this place. I should say that Kodama has some theories about the age that have held up so far. It may have been a special forces sort for the maintainers. Started later, mid-8000s. Became somewhat of a research and development arm for the Maintainers Guild. I don't know, worth mentioning though. There are few mentions of such groups seen in other docs Kodama has found, or at least seen. Entrance. To begin with, I'd wager that no other than a high-ranking government official or similar ever made it into this room. That's just my guess, but it seems pretty sound. I don't think any school buddies or girlfriends dropped by to see their maintainer friend. The linking book we found was deep within the Maintainer Guild. I'm sure it'll be guarded in its day. Was well guarded in its day. You can see right off the bat that the entrance was extremely secure. Thick walls, one door, a high window, sniper maybe. Okay, we saw that earlier. If you manage to get in with a bomb or something, it's not going to do any noticeable damage. That is for sure. I love the maintainer symbol on the floor everywhere else you look, as though I might forget where I am. Writing room. So, visitors are escorted into this little waiting room. There's a window on one side, looks almost like a ticket window. Maybe turn in weapons or goods that they aren't allowed. Maybe books. I'm sure they didn't want books in here. Yeah, it looks like it's mainly for books. There's another ticket window on the other side, although this one looks different. I'm pretty sure those are beetle cages on the other side. Beetles that sought out ink. Somebody was just telling me that there are all kinds of references to them in other docs. You didn't make it past this room with a book. As well, the doors never open at the same time. So even if somehow you make it out of the entrance room, you're still not going to make it past those mammoth doors out in the waiting area. Halls. Looks like the hall ran along the entire circumference of the building. There are plenty of rooms. I'll try and hit them one at a time. First is an elevator, though. However, it looks like it's only down. Wonder if it was always that way? More security, I guess. Once you've made it into these halls, there's still nowhere to go. At least if they didn't want you going anywhere. Lockers. I would think that any books that were brought to the age were kept in lockers. I'd imagine that some of the workers here, frequent visitors, also kept some equipment, but I could be wrong on that. Looks like they kept some maintainer gear as well. Markers, helmets, etc. Seems a little out of place, honestly. KIs. Okay, things are becoming a little more clear now. Just had a long chat with Laxman, and he researched some different docs over the city that Nick had. Looks like the current condition I'm seeing was not the original condition. The KI was a major development, not just for the guild, but also apparently for all citizens. Turns out they were just starting to hand out the KIs to the public around the time of the fall. Nice timing. So it looks like they had done some renovations in order to facilitate the mass amounts of visitors that would be coming in order to retrieve KIs. Turns out my little girlfriend analogy was pretty much completely wrong. Girlfriends and more were going to start coming here, at least to the open sections. Kodama corrected me. We've actually found multiple books in the neighborhoods, as well as guarded maintainer book, as I mentioned earlier. Whoops. So, visitors come in, walk through the doors, beetles check for books, and they walk down to the hall to the KI room. Grab a KI and link out. Guards will probably hit the up elevator, which is just behind this room. If they did happen to bring any illegal items, they get them back on the other side of the locker, and off they go back home with their shiny new KI. Makes more sense as to why the maintainer paraphernalia was in the locker rooms too. Probably a little display type thing for all those visitors. Impress them. Warehouse. Quite a bit of goodies in here, all of which I'm sure most visitors never saw. Pretty bad cave-in from the floor above, although Enberg says that structurally the place seems alright. He's doing more detailed inspections soon. Looks like most of these crates are filled with KI maintenance type equipment, as well as a variety of spare parts, etc. I don't know. Laxman will have to give this place a good inspection. I'm sure he'll love going through it all. Beyond me, I don't know that. Beetle cages. Convenient cave-in. Not sure one is supposed to get into the beetle cages without it. No idea how they did it. Link maybe. Regardless, pretty positive the cages were for beetles. Symbols on the front and quite a bit of remnants in some of the dirtier cages. We'll have to clean those up. Wonder when they all died. Speaking of excess, another question. How'd they get up to the second floor? Elevator skipped the middle floor. More security, I suppose. Second floor. Destruction was a little more substantial than I thought. Looks like it tore out a section of the outer wall even. I'm gonna get out of here until Ingberg can come back again. Been a few days, but I'm back. I'm no expert, so I guess I'll have to trust Ingberg. But he says this whole thing is one of the most solid, heavy pieces of construction he's ever seen. It's safe, he assures me. If I die here and someone retrieves this recording, please sue him for me. Second floor looks similar to the first. Outer hall and a number of rooms. Have to remember that very few people ever walk these halls. There's no access via elevators, stairs, or anything to get here. I assume it had to be done via a linking book, which is probably somewhere in the city. I suppose there could be a way to stop these elevators in the middle of the floor, but I doubt it. Regardless, this floor is extremely secure. Book access only, I'm guessing. Guard lounge. Next to the observation room, at least that's what I assume it was, is what looks like a guard lounge. Looks like they stayed here for long amounts of time. There are beds in here as well as couches. I assume these guys manned the window observation post while the visitors were coming in. Guard lockers. More lockers similar to the set downstairs, although these were manned with some heavy equipment. I'm sure Watson will want to see the stuff and keep it locked up well. In fact, I'm not even going to go into detail about it here. Laxman can write about all this stuff in a later report. I will say I don't know that Dunny had these kinds of technology. Gear room. Now I see why this floor is so secure. Looks like the whole power structure for this building is here. Amazing construction. The entire building looks to have been powered by some underground water source that caused it to turn. They implemented a gear so that it would grab onto teeth in the ground outside and provide them a power source as well. Talk about killing two giant birds with one stone. Pretty amazing. Power looks somewhat complicated. Seems as though there are at least occasions that power was turned off, although there are obviously controls to do that, and then started again. I'm heading to the top. Top. Wow, I thought this building was big. The main portion is absolutely giant, and rotating too, of course. I'm overcome with the amount of work put into this place just for security. It's everywhere. Almost comical picturing government officials walking the same paths I am. Amazing. To get to the other side looks like one had to walk across the bridge to the rock pinnacle. This is the first place we have arrived that we're able to save a link. And it's not big, and there's a massive structure facing you if you did. Pretty funny to try and picture an army invading. All of them just bunched up on this stone waiting for these bridges to rotate. What the? My gosh. The creatures. These things are something out of a horror movie. I've been up here a little while and I don't see them often, but when I do, they're scaring me to death. I'm beginning to understand the fences and structures a little better. Perhaps some of them were designed to keep creatures out more than keep visitors in. Don't hang out in these woods unless you have a big gun. Another bridge to reach the main portion of this place. More security. I will say that the platform between the bridges seems to have eroded. At one time, crossing the bridges was probably a security feature to ensure manageable groups would approach the larger building one at a time, but I would wager it was still a lot easier than it is now. The erosion led to the platform between the bridges has made it a little rougher. I suppose the maintainers would like it even more in its current condition. Mudrooms. I'm not sure what to call these things, but they remind me of the mudrooms, so I'll call them that. Not much here. Looks like each bridge has a mudroom attached to it, with another group of doors, etc. There doesn't seem to be any kind of decompression or decontamination that went on here. Really seemed to be nothing more than another spot for another set of doors. Another secure location. Training center. I was going to go to each of the rooms here, but after making a quick overview, I think I'll just start with the entire thing. There are 3 types of rooms in the building, 2 of each kind. There's a control room, 1 purple and 1 yellow, a display room, 1 purple and 1 yellow, and a conference room. Though these aren't colored, I assume there's 1 for each team. The entire building seems to be centered on the massive wall in the middle. The control rooms control the wall, the display rooms display the uniforms that were worn in the wall, I presume, and the conference rooms allow the government visitors and high-ranking officials to confer about those training on the wall. See. So, control rooms first. Control rooms. I'm not going to go into the controls for the wall in this doc. I'll let Laxman do that at some other time. Regardless, the panel here is obviously controls the wall. The wall was used for training as well as testing of various suits. I believe the central room can get pretty hot, cold, smoky, anything else I can imagine pretty quick. It was a competition. Whoever could get to the top quickest. Teams would race and set up obstacles, and members would race. There's a side tunnel that provides access to the display rooms from the control room. Display rooms. Not sure that these were originally to display rooms, or maybe they were. Either way, there are quite a few old maintainer suits in here. There's also the latest maintainer suit, or skin here. I guess I should say this machine is to put on the latest maintainer suit in here. Now that we've had some time to look at this, it's incredible. We're talking about a suit that was skin tight, had linking abilities, etc. built in. Very high-tech as far as maintainer suits go. Very impressive. A maintainer would fall down the chute, and while traveling through the interior room wall, the suit would be placed on him. I'm begging to try the thing, but the DRC is insistent that no one does. Laxman already has someone on it, trying to figure out more. I'm first when they do. I think these rooms could basically be described as team locker rooms. Conference rooms. Well, I guess these rooms were where the big wigs sat down and talked about their maintainers. Obviously, they're set up to watch the wall, and there are displays that show the patterns being built and played on the wall. We'll never know, but I could see the guild masters in here watching their teams compete, preparing to send them out to some radioactive fireball age to see if their new suits can stand the elements. Upper portions. I'm not going up now, but we do know the upper portions were used as prison cells. Typical Dunny technology. They had this single linking book that went to all the cells. Since the building was always rotating, a very complicated linking apparatus and timing mechanism was associated with the book. The timing of the link would determine which cell a person was linked into. Apparently it was very tight. Speaking of linking, this entire building is rotating as well. It seems as though most visitors came on the path from the well, although there were books directly to this building. There had to be. It seems that many of them also use the timing mechanism and linking to specific rooms. Looks like another feature designed and built by these guys. One of many, I'm sure. I'm just wondering where the main research labs were, or better yet, where did everyone sleep or eat? So this journal tells us a lot more. Something about maintainers. We don't quite know what those are, but it's safe to say that those were Dunny, sort of like army members. We've got do we already get this cloth? No, we did not. So we've got that. We've got 2 more to go. Right, so basically that journal confirms this is indeed a prison. And we know that for sure. Alright, so actually, over here, let's read this note again. Whoops. Sorry. Simpson, don't mention anything about the upper area of the fortress in your Gahreesan report. I don't want people wandering all over Teledon looking for that weird link stone, says Sharper. So 5 appears to be all of the journey clause that we can find. And indeed that is true until we can find that second link stone that was mentioned there. So unfortunately we can't actually finish this age yet. But I think it was good to get the KI or key and get that out of the way. So it's kind of an anticlimactic ending to this age, but we've got to head back to Relto. There's nowhere else to be. Alright, well while we're here, let's see if we can change out of this suit, or at least just have the helmet on or something. Alright, so yes, we can do that. We can actually change everything about us. No, don't want to quit. Can we change this? There's gotta be a way to change this. Huh, I don't know how. Anyway. Back to Uru, I guess. Alright, so, yeah. Sorry about that age. That was not the best age to finish. That age doesn't really have a conclusion yet. But, let's see if we can find the Teledan age. It's not this one. And it is this one, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and head to Teledam in the next episode. So sorry this was a little bit of a short episode, but this has been Retro Gaming Now, playing Uru Complete Chronicles, and in the next episode we'll head to Teledan.